Hey, it's Pops. This is another part of that Christmas special. We're breaking down all sorts of Christmas movies, and we're going to talk about Home Alone, a 1990s classic. And if you're from that era, it is probably at the top of your list of favorites that you watch every single year. It is a classic and broke all sorts of box office records. It did divide some critics. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of the films, some of the highs and lows, and why has it endured so long after such a great, successful run at the box office. Stay tuned. This is Pops. All right, Home Alone, what can be said? We can talk about all sorts of different things. It's been years if you haven't seen it, and there might be spoilers, so you've been warned. If you haven't seen it, you don't want it spoiled, probably don't want to stay tuned for this video. But before we get to that though, let me ask for your help to hit that subscribe button. You can hit the bell next to it. It'll let you know every single time we post a new video, as well as likes and shares, comments. We love your feedback. Tell us what you love about the film, why you don't like it, why it shows up on the your family traditions every single year. So let's talk about the film. Macaulay Culkin, huge film for him, right? He was a pop sensation basically overnight. The family's getting together, including the extended family. There's kids everywhere. There's chaos. You see all the interpersonal relationships, all the angst with kids, fighting, bickering with an older brother, that kind of thing, losing his space, having to go to the attic, getting himself in trouble, being very mouthy, right? This is all being set up as the family prepares to go on that long flight overseas to Paris. So fast forward, the power goes out, the family doesn't wake up, they're rushed to the airport, and sure enough, Kevin's left alone. He's home by himself. Family doesn't even realize it till they're on the plane. They arrive in Paris. And meanwhile, Kevin's waking up. He had gone to bed. He had been so angry at his mom, wishing that he didn't even have a family, wishing that he was home alone. He actually getting his wish come true as this little boy. And, you know, I think most boys, let me say that again. Boys definitely have those moments where they say things about wanting to not have a family, how much better their life would be without their family and that kind of thing, especially with siblings, sisters that get on your nerves, those kinds of things. Just a stereotype, right? This film taps into all of that. And it just so humorously dives into all of those little teases in that first part, those openings with all the different things, right? And the uncle calling him, "You little jerk," you know, those kinds of things. It all sets up the kid being full of just frustration and animosity, and yet a sweetness and a juvenileness, because right out of the gate, he says these great, hysterical, funny things that kind of connects, that he's kind of testing the waters, right? He doesn't quite know if he's home alone or if it's some kind of weird thing that's going on. So Kevin's watching this fake film, Angels with Filthy Souls, possibly one of the best fake films in a film ever. It is fantastic sequence, right? A film that he shouldn't really be watching, kind of over his age group with some violence, that kind of thing. And he kind of says, you know, "Hey guys, I'm in here watching rubbish. You better come in here and get me," that kind of thing, right? I'm going to paraphrase quotes. Don't know them all by heart. You 90s fans, I know you do. So it sets it up, and he's scared at first. And then he's going through his older brother's drawer, you know, "Hey Buzz, I'm going through your stuff. Why don't you come out here and pummel me?" Nothing happens. He's home alone. So he's eating foods that he wants. He's doing the things. He's kind of breaking all the rules. I love the shot where he rides down the stairs, kind of shoots out the door, that kind of thing. Because if you had stairs growing up as a kid, you know you did it at least once. So I love the fact that the filthy animal quote, the Angels with Filthy Souls movie, comes back to play. The first time it's teased with the pizza delivery guy, right? So Kevin doesn't want anybody to know that he's home alone. So he's playing clips of the movie as though he's speaking to the pizza guy. And it's just a great thing. And it really sets up how smart and clever the kid is. And that's because I think here is where parents are connecting, seeing their own kids, seeing those cute, witty remarks that, you know, I gotta be honest, not all people see that in your kids, right? You're around your kids so much, you catch these things. You wish you go back in time and write down more of those little comments and quotes, and Kevin is living that out with all these different things, setting that up. And then in comes the wet bandits, right? The burglars, if you will. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern are just perfectly cast. They handle the intimidating aspects to Kevin, as well as just this incredible timing, comedic elements. It sets it up. The booby trap scenes at the end of the film and those kinds of things. I love when they show up and they're casing out the house, and he has rigged up different silhouettes and things in the house, pulling strings to rocking around the Christmas tree, and you're seeing these things so they think that he's actually not alone. Absolutely a great scene. Brilliant writing, execution, direction, timing. It's really done well. I mean, I know it's a comedy, I know it's a kid's movie and it's silly, but at the end of the day, when you go back and watch this, you realize it is really done well. It's why it's held up. It's why audiences are attracted to it. It's why they've engaged over the years, because that all is just perfectly laid out. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, man, they are just incredible. They've nicknamed themselves the Wet Bandits as they break in, he floods the house, those kinds of things. And it is just so great. It is great seeing Kevin setting those booby traps, all the different things. You're laughing, your kids are laughing. I mean, it's just tapping in to all those visceral emotions that you have as a parent, as a kid, all those things. Whopping success. That is why it's held up, and that's why it's a classic. Now, as I said, some critics didn't like it. I got to be honest, the first time I watched it when it came out, it was such a huge box office thing. I went to go see it, and I was kind of like, nah, it's all right. It's funny. It's got some parts. But it didn't grow on me yet. It took years seeing it again, seeing pieces, catching little things where you start to see the heart of the film. And it really is spelled out at the end of the film with the little old man, right? The creepy neighbor stories, right? He's been murdering people in these trash cans, and Kevin's just terrified, right? It's just a great antagonist for a kid's inner fear. And I think that at the end of the film, when the little old man comes into the church, they're there together, and Kevin's kind of become pretty exasperated. At this point now, he's been home alone. The bandits have done their thing, so he's really missing his family. And the little old man starts to sit down and talk to Kevin and make him explain why he's alone, right? All of the regrets that he has of not being there and being with his own family. And I think that connects to generations right there. There's a moment from young to old that it just speaks to us all, right? The value of family, the holiday, making that a priority, trying to connect over the generations. I think all of that is what works so well and wraps up the film and makes it connect. And then by the time the family is headed home, mom comes bursting in and sees Kevin, and they're embracing, and there's emotion. The audience is emotional because we've been on that ride with them to see that and know that Kevin has gone through the party celebration phase. He's done some different experimentation, using the BB gun in the house, and then of course fighting off the bandits. It really just got an extraordinary element that fits the holiday season and motif. I think as I watch it again, I pick up on some of the editing, little nuances. I really see what Chris Columbus did, and just did such a great job with certain elements of the film that I really didn't necessarily appreciate. I think that's part of the problem too, right? When you're a critic or a reviewer, you go out, you see a film, and you watch it one time, and you have to put a ranking on it. You have to kind of put something to it, and like I said, the initial response for me was, it's a good, it's a funny and it's a family film, but it's not a good film. It's not a great film. And I think that where the audiences have connected is because of that time, right? It has like an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes compared to like a 60-something for critics. But how many of those 80-somethings have watched it like 6 times before they gave it a 9, right? Or they gave it a 90? So I'm not sure it's an apples to apples thing. That's kind of what you have to understand with Rotten Tomatoes, because I think the film kind of sits in the middle, right? It's kind of like a 7. It's better than the average stuff, but it's not a great film. It's a heartwarming film. It's a cute film. It's a sweet film. It's a holiday film that really helps encapsulate the inner child with being an adult. Being a parent, having kids, what a kid feels like on the inside that they want, the frustrations of finding your identity with big family groups and big family situations. And then, of course, just that little old man scene with Kevin, right? Connecting over, don't let time get away. Even if it's just holidays, at least find those chances to connect. And that is really the message that really, hopefully you take home is, yeah, it's fun to laugh at Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, but man, sit down with your family and your kids and introduce them to Home Alone and make those memories. You know, use it as a film that's a live action film. It's not animated, so you can connect to something that can entertain them. But also you can kind of like have those little seeds being planted about value of getting together at the holidays and all those things. This film is just, it's touched so many people. And as you watch it again, you realize there are like, you know, 20, 30 quotable lines. With all of that said, what was the big famous scene, right? The shaving scene, right? He's in the bathroom. He's trying to be like an adult. He's doing the shave. He's singing, you know, he's doing his thing, and he puts on the aftershave, of course, and he burns and he screams. And that was the thing. It was everywhere. And, you know, in hindsight, it's still funny, but it's just not... it become like the poster moment, but it's not as big of a deal as there are to me as other elements of this film are. And I would love to know, what is your favorite scenes? What are your favorite parts? Maybe you're ones that don't care for it, or you're ones that are just obsessed. It's at the top of your list. And that's cool for me, because I will say it always ends up in the rotation for us as a family, but it's not top tier, but it can just be on, and you can laugh at those moments, you can connect in those moments. But I can't wait to share Home Alone with my grandkids, my grandson. Really try to dive into that sort of, like I said, that building the bridge and that connecting with the next generation. And I think that's what's made Home Alone a classic. I hope you like this video. Check out a lot of our other Christmas videos. Like I said, I ask for you to help us grow the channel, like and share this video if you think it's worthwhile. Thanks for your time, and I've been Pops. I've been Pops? No, I'm still Pops. Thanks for your time. I'm Pops.